Hi guys, and welcome to DIY Crafts. Today we are specializing in our last pumpkin extravaganza, and we have a special guest today. His name is Sean. He's going to be teaching us how to make this super cute, super awesome crocheted, loom knit pumpkin. So I did this by simply watching his video. You can stuff it with polyfill, or in my case, I stuffed it with tissues because I didn't have any polyfill. And it works just the same. Cute little stem. You don't have to do the stem. You could just put a twig in there. It works just as cool. And so this is our last week working on pumpkins. If you've been following along, we made trash bag pumpkins using paper mache. We did toilet paper roll pumpkins. Last week we saw Cassie from Cass Creative teach us how to do some special carved pumpkins. And this week Sean is going to show us how to do a loom knit pumpkin. So if you've ever done knitting, it'll be super easy for you. If you've never done any type of knitting, it'll be just as easy because loom knitting is so fun and so easy. Even I can do it. And so next week we are going to be making something super simple. I'm going to teach you guys how to make paper flowers. So tune in next week, and I hope you enjoy the show. Sean, take it away.
Today we are making a pumpkin out of yarn in this loom. The first thing you're going to want to do is, if you have chunky yarn, you can use one strand, but if you have a thinner type of yarn, you're going to want to double up. And you can just take anything like this, that is a popcorn tin, and you can put your yarn in there so it has somewhere to come from. Now, the first thing you want to do with the yarn is you're going to make a slip stitch. That's not right, it's a slip knot. You're going to want to make a slip knot and then attach it to your anchor peg. The anchor peg will indeed anchor your yarn into place. Now, the first thing we need to do is get the yarn onto the loom. So this is called binding on. We're going to use the drawstring bind on. Take your yarn and you're going to go to the right of the anchor peg. You're going to go behind this peg. And then go in front of the second peg, behind the third peg, and continue zigzagging and pushing your yarn down as you go. You're just going to make a serpentine way around. And when you get to the front here, you just want to go again behind the first one, so you don't want to have any yarn here yet. Nothing here. You're going to come around front of the second peg, and you're going to kind of lean your yarn up against the pegs, and every peg that has two, you are going to knit over. Knitting over is quite literally just knitting over. This bottom goes over the top, just like that. So you slowly move your way down, bottom over the top. You're going to do this the entire way, and this is going to create the drawstring, which makes it much easier to. So now we have this dude here that doesn't have any yarn on it, so you just want to do a simple E-wrap. An E-wrap is a knit stitch, and it is just a tiny little E. So like, think of a lowercase e, that's what you're doing. And you want to do that on the first one, because now all of them have 1. So we have a baseline in which we can begin. So for your first round, you just want to E-wrap, so make tiny little E's, and then you're gonna knit over. So then you go to the next one, make a tiny little E, you knit over. I cannot stress enough, you need to keep your yarn very, very loose. Now you see here that my yarn isn't tight, it is flowing, there's no obstructions. Every time I'm making a tiny little E, the yarn is really just going through my hand like a tunnel, and I am just leading it through here. So if it is a little tight, you can pull this before you try to wrench it over. Now remember, you're not pulling the yarn. Let the yarn pull you. So just very, very lightly, you're not pulling on it, you're just letting it do its thing, and then you pull out and over. Now you're going to do this all the way around. And this is an ergonomic hook, by the way, because I do have trouble with my hands, so this is much, much more helpful. I found this one in a 2-pack. Usually they're orange, and I found a purple and was very excited. So whatever hook you have, it's doing the same purpose. This one is just a little bit more pleasant on the hands when you're in it for the long haul. So almost to the front, the beginning. This is the last. So when I get back to the beginning, I'm going to let my anchor go. And you can just kind of push that to the back. It's just gonna hang there. Do your best to not get that caught in your current work, because that also can be very difficult. That is the tail for the drawstring that we will be drawing. So now we are at the beginning of our main event, and this is, we are going to learn how to purl. What you're going to do is you're going to take your working yarn and you're going to put it in front, right front here. You want this to be above the working yarn. So you want the one that's on the peg to be above the working yarn. You're going to take your hook and you're going to put it between the peg and the yarn that is on the peg. So he's just hanging here. Like if you were, I don't know, tying something to a boat, it's buoyed, you don't want it going anywhere. Then you're going to slide the hook under the working yarn, and that's going to go through like that. Once you've gotten here, congratulate yourself, because you are 50% of the way there. You're going to take it off. Yes, I said take it off the peg. So now there's nothing on the peg. Replace it, and then very, very gently pull if there's any. But if there's, you know, if you do it and it's perfect, don't pull. Tuning on. Congratulations on your first purl, by the way. And the next 5 stitches are going to be knit. So we're going to do the E-wrap. We're We're going to do it 1, knit over, 2, knit over, 3, knit over, 4, knit over, and 5, knit over. Now we're going to repeat that pattern, and we have to purl again. Take the working yarn, make sure it is under, stick your hook into the yarn, and then scoop up your friend, put your friend in the passenger seat of your car, then you're gonna take off. But obey the speed limit. Got it? Does that work? Then we're gonna E-wrap, knit, E-wrap, knit. Do that 5 times, and then purl. So this is a 24 peg loom, so we're doing each of it 4 times per loom. And that's an easy way, if you think that you've lost count, just go back to the last purl and count your knits in between. So we're at another purl. Gonna stick my hook in it. I'm gonna pull it away from peg. I'm gonna stick my working yarn. I'm gonna scoop it up, throw my friend in the car consensually, and then we're taking off. I don't know why that is my... Anyway, so moving on, we're gonna knit, E-wrap, knit, E-wrap, knit, E-wrap, knit, E-wrap, and knit. You want to count and make sure that you have 5 before you move on, because it is very upsetting to have to go back and redo something. So we are back at the purl. He's really not that scary of a guy or girl. It's an inanimate stitch. So you see it's just in, you pull it away. That guy's sneaking in there. We're scooping it up like some ice cream. And we're taking it off. It's just off for a second and then back on. And pull to fit. To fit. Make sure it is loose. I should be able to move these. And then the last one. We are knitting. We are wrapping and knitting. Knit wrapping. And then on the 5th, we are back at the beginning. So that was the first round. We'll repeat this 14 times. And after 15 rows, you will end up with something that looks much like this. And what we want to do is we want to get this off of the loom. So you're gonna start. I'm gonna start to the left of the anchor peg, and you're gonna wrap about 1.5 times around, and then you're gonna cut yarn. So we are going to come back here to our peg. We're gonna lift it, scoop this under, and then pull this out. And then you're gonna, I would say, go on to the next one. Pull it, scoop it, pull it out, and then it's always good to just, I like to do the one after so that you know that you already did that one, because if you let it out, like if I were to take this one off, it would unravel, and that's just, it's not pretty. So you want to continue going all the way around. And that's how you take it off the loom, because then it's just kind of off. So as you can see here, this is also a drawstring. So if you actually want to flip it inside out, when you pull this tight, because this is going to be on the inside, so nobody's going to see this. So when you get it the way you want it, you can just kind of make a knot and sew up this bad boy. Then you flip it back. You can send the yarn into the middle, like so. And you can kind of see where we're going with this now. Isn't that exciting? Some filling. So you can just kind of stuff that one in there. Just make sure that you don't stuff that one in there. The top one, we still need that guy. So it's really up to you how much you want to fill the pumpkin. But then we are going to pull on this one here. And oh man, we have a pumpkin in here. So what we're gonna do now is stick this away in here, and then make sure that you are pulling here. So you want to get this as closed as possible. Do then, let's give him a top. So we're gonna make Slipknot just like before. I'm gonna put it on the anchor peg. And we're just gonna start over here, and we're just gonna E-wrap. We're gonna E-wrap 3. We're just gonna go back and forth. So you're just making a little ease. It's a very good Halloween project. And you knit over. Knitting over and knitting can be used interchangeably. And remember to keep your yarn loose. you're going to bind off and move this peg to this one, and then you're going to knit over. We're going to wrap these two, same thing, and then there was one. So now we're going to cut that. Through the loop. Make sure you get them both. Both of the both. There we go. So then you can just kind of slide it off the anchor peg. And you have this guy here. And you can just kind of weave that in. Best way to do it. And sure that there's a knot there, and you have a pumpkin.